Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Improvement Review, the number one show for home improvement reviews. I am your host, Jeff Holiday, rather big name, if I say so myself, in the improvement community. I like to think of myself as the number one improver on YouTube. Now, if you caught our last episode, you know that we are on Season 4. It was a great season. And today we're going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 3. The episode's title is Death Begins at 40. Now, this is a particularly interesting episode. One, because it's got a lot of character development for Tim. But also, this is the very first appearance of Blake Clark, who plays Harry, the guy who owns a hardware store. And he would be a returning character, albeit infrequent, all the way to the end of this series. So this is the genesis of Harry the hardware store guy. And what an introduction he gives us. Oh man. But also, a very strange fantasy element exists in this episode. I will demonstrate. It starts off rather strong, good opening quips between Tim and Al. But then, inexplicably, they are shrunk.
That's my job, Tim.
There's a joke there. They are shrunk because they will be going into a car engine as miniaturized. Now, obviously, this is done with a blue screen or a green screen, and you would think if this is your first watching of this classic episode, you might think, well, obviously, then this is later going to be at least shown that they're using special effects to film this. But no, in fact, in the home improvement lore, in the actual expanded canon. In the universe of home improvement, shrink rays do in fact exist, because at no point do they ever say that was special effects or that it was a joke. They instead play it off that in fact Tim the Toolman Taylor and Al Borland shrank themselves down and then climbed into an engine. I mean, I think it was a pretty brave move personally, and I'm a pretty big fan. Other things of note in this episode. It centers largely around Harry, as I mentioned before, being the impetus for what develops in Tim's character here. And what happens is he's offering Tim and the assorted patrons beef jerky. And they begin to discuss, is beef jerky really good for you? And he said, well, I was a Marine, and look at how many push-ups that I can do.
Hey, check this out. Count how many I can do in a minute. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That all you can do? 5?
And just like that.
Your breathing's hard for you. Act like you're having a heart attack.
I think I might be.
And there you go. And that's our first introduction to Harry. And many people thought that because of such a shocking way to introduce a new character that he might pass away, and this might become one of those classic 90s episodes to teach a very careful way of dealing with death and grief and mourning. But no, in fact, Harry survives, and he's for the most part all right. There's a joke in there that the very large plumber man holding him up there had to give him mouth to mouth. But thank God that he was there to give him mouth to mouth. Otherwise, we would have lost out on a wonderful character. Anyway, so Tim initially wanted to have steak, baked potato, and all this for his birthday dinner because he was turning 40. But seeing his friend Harry here suffer from a heart attack, decides to become a bit of a health nut. Now, as you can probably imagine, you can't squeeze a whole lot of plot development into 22 minutes, which was a recurring problem with the series, and actually pretty much any show in the 90s. So the acting in some ways manages to make up for the lack of development in the plot, because of course these are our favorite characters. These are characters that we love, and brilliant performers, bringing them to life on the small screen. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. To make something more healthy, Tim is gonna get a birthday watermelon. That actually sounds pretty good. But anyway, so it all happens rather quickly. But by the end of it, Tim, of course, gets some wisdom from Wilson, which is always very welcomed and very needed. And he basically talks him into understanding that, you are probably going to be okay. You're probably overreacting. Then Tim gets the good news from all the doctors that he went and saw. And in fact, he's very, very healthy. And a few more jokes are made. And a lot of very awkward kissing near the end, which made me a little bit uncomfortable. So that's the basic, the basics of the episode. Things that I'd like to point out. As always, the kids are there. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, of course, historically was the one that everybody thought was going to become like the next massive child actor, and for a time he had some success, but obviously it didn't really go too terribly far. Zachary Ty Bryan didn't really go very far either, but this episode in specific actually made me go and look up to what happened to Taryn Smith, who played Mark Taylor, the youngest of the boys. And it turns out he didn't really want to act after this, and now he teaches people how to drive submarines. That's not a joke. That's like legit 100% the truth. That's actually what he does now. He makes vegan food and teaches people how to pilot submarines. So fuck it. But as always, my favorite character is, of course, Jill Taylor. Patricia Richardson is absolutely wonderful. She's the best part of the show, if you ask me, for very, very specific and important reasons, but mostly because her delivery is the best part of the show, hands down. Let me see if I can find this great joke right about here. Best part of the show, best part of the episode.
I got the whole birthday mapped out. 6 o'clock, you guys shower me with gifts. Yeah. Then you fix me the thickest, juiciest steak you can find. Baked potatoes.
Oh, you know what? It was actually after he decided that he needed to be healthier. I'm sorry. Yep. Right about here.
The thickest slab of beef in all of Detroit, and your seasoning.
Gotta cancel the steak, cancel the seasoning, and as much as I don't want to say it, cancel our shellac party in the garage.
What are you talking about?
Harry had a heart attack.
Harry the hardware store guy?
He's okay, though. He's all right.
She's got such compassion, such grace. Truly, Patricia Richardson, she should have done Shakespeare, honestly. I mean, thank God that we got her for Home Improvement, because I don't know anybody who could otherwise fit those tasteful pumps but her.
It's a minor heart attack. But it was like a wake-up call for me. I could have been the guy laying on the floor getting mouth-to-mouth by a 250-pound plumber.
You?
Yeah, Harry and I go way back. He's an ex-Marine. He's in great shape. I played high school football with this guy.
I thought you were the team towel boy.
Amazing delivery. Amazing. I don't mean to gush too terribly much, but my God, like, damn near the perfect woman.
Trying to make a point here. I gotta start eating better. The doctor said 40-year-old men should take better care of themselves. He called me middle-aged.
Tim, you are not middle-aged. You're barely 40, and as I recall this morning, you were 20.
And look how time flies. I wake up 20, by noon I'm 40, at dinner I'm dead.
And you never know. You never know. Yes, yet again, one of the amazing examples of how Home Improvement really touched on to the cultural zeitgeist, especially in the 90s, where people were really starting to ramp up being worried about their health.
By tomorrow morning, I'll be remarried.
Perfect.
Look, you're getting a little carried away, don't you think?
No, I don't think. I'm not a kid anymore.
Tim, look at you. You're in great shape. You have incredible energy, sometimes way too much energy. You are not going to have a heart attack.
Well, maybe not a heart attack, but there's other things that could kill me. Tell me, what is this ugly lump on my neck?
Your head.
And there it was, the perfect delivery. That was a perfect moment in the episode, and it was all because of the Queen, Patricia Richardson. Yeah, so there you go. There you have it. That is season 4, episode 3, Death Begins at 40. A classic episode, classic. I will say that for the most part, the acting was pretty much what you would consider, classic Home Improvement acting. The plot was passable. I'd give that about a 6, something like that. However, the grunts are pretty lacking in this one. This is pretty much the only good one.
This is great, guys. This is really great. Honey, it's going to take a lot to top this.
I think.
Oh yeah, the boys made a man out of tools for the tool man, a little statue. It wasn't a very important plot point because pretty much all the plot points that involve the kids suck.
I'm up to the challenge.
But here comes a good grunt.
Are you over your fear of death?
Yes.
You want to live life to its fullest?
Uh-huh.
What is the one thing that you have always wanted?
Oh.
That's pretty much the only good grunt we got out of it. So really, honestly, the grunt ability is like at a 2. It's pretty sad about that. Anyway, stay tuned, and soon we'll have the next episode, season 4, episode 4, and that's The Eyes Don't Have It. Stay tuned to this channel for more home improvement reviews, and to all my other fellow improvers out there.